Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? Good morning to each and every one of you. Welcome to another episode of Rantz with your boy, African King Darius. So, I must apologize that I've been away. My wife and I were expecting our new child, and she came directly on September the 1st of this year. A baby girl, 7 pounds, 15 ounces. I didn't even know it can go up to 15 ounces. I'm not going to lie. She was 22 inches long. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful baby girl. So I want to say thank you to everyone who wished me a congratulations. Thank you. It's kind of, hard for me to get adjusted to being a new dad when I have 3 boys and now a beautiful baby girl. So there's some things I'm still afraid to do, but I'm getting used to the role of taking care of a baby girl. Now, with that said, today, now that I have a daughter, I wanted to ask you guys a very important question. So far, in the media, we've been seeing a lot of spread of this whole new wave of understanding life, inclusion and stuff like that, accepting people's differences. And it's a wonderful thing. But then at the same time, I do feel like sometimes we're pushing the lever too far when it comes to certain situations. I was watching a commercial for Apoquel, a type of medicine for dogs, when they had fleas. The male dog was a male dog, but they showed a scene where he was on a dating site and he clicked on another male dog that said Kenzo on it. I was a bit taken back with it because I said, okay, well, I don't understand. I really do feel like we are taking this whole acceptance of people's sexuality too far. And the reason I believe we're taking it too far is because now we're taking things that are not necessarily needing of the spread of acceptance of someone's sexual nature. We're completely taking it and we're throwing it into people's faces. Like, okay, you have no other choice but to do it. When we should be able to let them be free to make that choice themselves. Now, I'm not trying to say it's okay for people to be homophobic, because I'm not. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that we don't need to throw that into things where it doesn't belong. Like, no one is going to really care about a dog's sexuality. I mean, it's a dog. Why are you showing a dating site for a medicine to take away dogs' fleas, and you have the dog clicking on another male dog? I mean, yes, it happens with animals, but it is not something that really anybody of a general audience cares about. Yet, this is the thing that's popping up in these commercials. It's the whole push of acceptance is wonderful. I'm all for it. But sometimes you got to slow your roll, and you have to not throw so much up in people's faces, because then when you do, you start to make them sick of it. There's a commercial that I watched with Apple Pods, right? Well, no, it was the one for Google. Yeah, it's the Google Pods. I know y'all seen this commercial. If you haven't, anyway, so in the commercial, right, there's a guy and he's wearing heels. He's doing the whole catwalk routine that a female would do and stuff like that. And I'm like, again, this is nothing against the LGBTQ community or against homosexuality, against anything that of people loving someone of the same sex. It's just, again, here they got this guy and he's walking all the way down to the end of the catwalk, and there's this chick and she looks at him and she's smiling, and he doesn't even say anything. he just starts waving a pom-pom at her. And I had such an issue with the commercial because now it's starting to become a whole thing where you no longer have the choice to decide if you want to be homosexual or straight. It's being thrown up in your face like you have no other choice but to be homosexual. Like, be homosexual. You have no other choice. And it's such a bad thing because we're not giving people the option to decide whether or not they want to or not. It's being thrown up in our faces so much now that we can't even try to get away from it. I would love to watch programming on national television where I don't have to, again, this is nothing against homosexuals. It's just sometimes we throw it in there on purpose and we throw it in there all the time that we make it the focal point. And now a wonderful story that was beautiful in the first place has been tarnished because you want to make sure that includes them. And my whole entire thing, we need to accept in the world that not everyone's going to always be included in everything. There are some good stories where not a lot of people are included. I'm writing children novels, and in one of my stories, the majority of my characters are British. They are British and they're white. It's not that I'm saying that there cannot be African American British people. It's just a simple fact that I'm saying, if I want my story to be that way, it has no shape on me saying that I don't want to be inclusive of other people of other nationalities. It has nothing to do with that. It's just that's how I envision my characters. And if that's how I envision my characters, I should not be made to feel bad just because my characters are that nationality. I shouldn't be forced to have to include everybody else. Okay, perfect example. When I was a young kid, right, I used to play football on, the school parking lot when I was in middle school. Okay, I'm not going to give up the school I went to. Excuse me. But I used to like literally either get picked last or I wouldn't get picked at all. Now, for me, while I'm waiting to get picked, I'm actually hoping I don't get picked. I didn't want to get picked. I didn't want to play, and sometimes when I got picked and I started playing, I played good, but I didn't want to play really. One day, I was waiting and I actually wanted to play. Then I didn't get picked. I was about to get mad. Then I saw them play, and as soon as I saw them play, somebody got hit in the face with the football and his nose started bleeding. I didn't want to play. I sat right there and said, okay. See, sometimes not getting picked is okay. It's more than okay. You have to be okay with the fact that you're not always going to get picked. I remember when I was going to first grade, right, we had a little area where we would play with the toys in the classroom. And there was this one kid who, we were playing the game with the toys, and it was supposed to be 5 people on my side, 5 people on the other side. There were at least 8 of us over there. So 2 people couldn't get picked. 2 people couldn't get picked. So with the way the world is, I have no other choice but to try to include them, period, because if I don't, then I'm being prejudiced. No. If I can't include them, I can't include them. It's no hate towards them. It's no hatred towards their nationality or the color of their skin. It's just the fact that I can't include them. Okay? Not everything has to always be so damn inclusive. No one is trying to make anyone feel bad when they exclude somebody. Sometimes that happens. If I'm playing a brand new video game, right? I don't want, perfect example, The Sims 4. I'm still getting updates for The Sims 4 now on the PS4. There are so many things. He just created a whole new loft area, a new building loft that you can download. I ain't got time for all this. I mean, literally, let me put it to you guys this way. 2 of the DLC will cost you around $200, not 2, but 5 of the DLC will cost you around $200 just to get. And that's just 5. There are no bundle packs that include all of the DLC for a good cheap price. And I'm not spending over $200, $250 for a bunch of freaking updates to do the same thing I was doing at the last place. So if I do an update where I have a loft area, okay. But these updates that they have now do not change any of the customization for the characters. Perfect example. You still don't get that sense of realism from the real world with the characters. Like, they have not downloaded any type of mods where the characters can do more things. Like, you can do more human, realistic things. You can actually go with the character onto their job now. I do like that. But it's like, okay, you can't visit other people's towns and, go to that person's job or call that person on the phone and actually talk to them and stuff like that. You can call them, but then it's like, okay, you still can't do what you would in the real world with it, Like, I would like to watch my character drive. I would like to control my character when they drive, just like I would in the real world, I would like to drive my character to work. But those things aren't being included. My entire thing is this, and I want you guys to really stop and think about this heavily. Don't just come at this narrow-mindedly. I am not trying to say to be against anybody because of the color of their skin, the shape of their size, or anything of that nature. It's just people need to understand that we cannot force other people into being a certain way, because forcing them into being that way is not going to create the acceptance that you want. I'm not trying to make anyone accept me because I'm black. I don't care if you don't like me because I'm black. If you don't, you don't. That doesn't change the dynamics of my day, and it's not going to make me feel any better if you do. It's just, we may want equality for all, and we may want equality, period. But we can't create that equality by forcing people to like us. I have been in a relationship with my wife for 15 years. And my in-laws still don't like me. For 15 years, they have never liked me. They still don't like me. And it's nothing I can do to try to get them to like me. I've been trying my hardest for 15 years, but they are hell-bent on not liking me. I spent 15 years of my life frustrating myself because they didn't like me. Putting them in situations where they had no other choice but to be around me or well. And that didn't work out for me. They still don't like me to this day. And I got sick and tired of it. And I said, no, it's time for that to end. So I stopped pursuing them. I stopped trying to make them like me. I let them spend time with their daughter. And they could do all that when I'm not around. And that seems to be working so far. They called to speak to her. I don't talk to them. When we go past their house, I don't get out the car. I don't speak to them. I stay where I am in the car. You don't have to like me. I just let you have what you want with her. And then when she's done, she comes back to me and we have a good day. Everybody gets to be fair. If that can work in life, why can we not allow people to not have to be subjected to things where there's certain innuendos that they're stating is just not needed? It's just not needed. It's like now you can't watch a Disney movie without almost inside the movie almost every character being homosexual. You have a lesbian character, a gay character. You can't even have the basic original Disney fairy tales like we had in the past because people are so bent out of shape. Because, oh my goodness, you're not being inclusive. It's not about being inclusive. Because sometimes you don't have to include everybody. There are a lot of shows on television right now that the majority of the cast is all white. I don't get mad about it. I turn my TV on and still watch it. Perfect example. There's a series that comes on TV called Bob Hart's Abishola. Y'all need to watch it. The character Abishola is Nigerian. The sitcom makes fun of Nigerians. And I'm not even offended because those are my people. They're black. I'm not offended by it. I find it hilarious. When Kevin Hart goes on stage and he says jokes about white people, those white folk don't get upset about what Kevin Hart is saying. They laugh. They know it's comedy. It's just they're meant to make you laugh. That doesn't mean it's a person's actual personal opinion of you specifically. They don't even know who you are. We don't have to always change up the dynamics of things. I miss the original Disney stories of, a prince and a princess both falling in love. Now you have Disney stories of a princess and a princess and a prince and a prince. No more are they doing the other one. It's like the whole idea of being homosexual is the only type of sexuality that exists. Now, perfect example. Listen, I'm a Muslim, okay? And my entire thing is, it bothers me when I hear other people throw up in my face that their religion is right over mine. I don't like that. My religion dictates to me that my religion is right over yours. And I have to be forced to hear you tell me yours is better than mine and yours is over mine. Yet, I have to be okay with it. My wife, my kids, and everyone else around me are all Christian. When they have prayer in the morning and say their prayers, I join in with them. Why? Because I don't want to offend them. Then the other day, when they had prayer, my wife said, baby, you don't have to say it with us. You don't have to say it with us. And I said, are you sure? She said, yeah. So I moved myself from the table and I sat in the living room, let them say their prayer over their food, and I came back over to the table and I ate my food. I said my prayer I was supposed to over my food in my language. I'm supposed to say it in Arabic, and I went ahead and ate my food. And everybody was happy. Everybody was happy. Now, I'm not trying to say excluding people is okay, but you don't have to always be included in everything. Not everything has to always include you. We need to accept that sometimes being excluded is okay. I don't want to always be included in everything. If there's going to be a selection for some type of game or something like that, and it might not be a game I want to play, don't worry about selecting me because I never wanted to play in the first place. It's okay to not always be included in everything. We need to allow ourselves to, when we're creating content, we need to allow ourselves to look at our general audience and say, what does the general audience want today? A lot of people are going to say, we don't want to turn on a dog commercial about fleas and see the daggone dog wearing a freaking sweater with a bow tie and he's on a dating site looking at another male dog. I don't have a problem with it, but seriously, that is just way too much. It's like everywhere you turn, the whole idea of a heterosexual relationship is now becoming completely obsolete, and no one cares about a heterosexual relationship anymore. Now heterosexual relationships have become completely excluded from everything. So a relationship I'm in with my wife where I make kids is wrong. That is taboo. I have to be gay. I have to be a homosexual. That should not be that way. And if this is offending anybody, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just trying to get you to understand that you're not going to force me to have to make a decision of deciding whether or not I want to be happy being heterosexual or I want to be happy being homosexual. I don't need to be either one. I don't need to do anything. It's my God-given right to say, I don't have to put up with this crap. I don't have to sit here and pander to the lowest common denominator and be forced to have to watch this stuff. Now, you can call me a homophobe if you want. I'm not. But I refuse to turn on a freaking channel for a freaking medicine for fleas for a dog and have to worry about the fact that, oh, okay, I gotta worry about homosexuality being thrown in my face between animals who don't even care about that mess. Why are we throwing that on animals? Why are we casting that on animals? Animals aren't worried about having homosexual sex. They're not thinking about that. There's no reason for that to be in a commercial. But because you don't want to offend the LGBTQ community, let's remember, I don't have a problem with people like that at all. Because for real, I know a lot of people and have a lot of friends that are homosexual. And I don't have a problem with them. I love hanging out with them. We have fun together all the time. My entire thing is, I have a friend who is a lesbian. And when we first became friends, I did ask her this. I said, can I talk to you about something serious? And she said, sure. I said, look, no disrespect to you and your sexual orientation, but can you please not take that whole approach of you being a lesbian and literally throw that in my face, I have no other choice but to 100% be okay with all lesbians. If there's one I don't like because of her personality or who she is as a person, that doesn't mean that I hate all lesbians. I just don't personally like that person. There's a lot of people on God's green earth that I don't favor, like my in-laws. I don't like them. I don't at all. They're black. But if I were white, so if I don't like them, I hate all black people? No. I just personally hate them. Just like I don't like Jay-Z, I don't like Beyonce. So if I don't like Jay-Z and Beyonce, I hate all blacks. Even though my skin is black too, I hate all blacks because I don't like the two of them. No, I never said that. I said I just don't like the two of them. I hate Jay-Z. He looks like a baboon. And Beyonce is overrated. So, take it for what it is. I just want you guys to understand that we should be okay when not having to always include what is considered the social norm into everything now, because it doesn't have to always be included. I don't have to include in my children's novels about a character that has to be transgender. I don't need to include in my children's novel about a character that has to be homosexual. I don't need to do that. If I don't have that in my story, it doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just my original vision came out without that in it. And I'm not going to change it just because you're feeling self-conscious about it. If you're feeling self-conscious about it, then go do something with yourself. No one said you had to read my book. Then don't buy it. I should have a right to continue to have my original vision and original idea I had. I want you guys, when you get a chance, watch the movie Peter Rabbit 2. There is actually a very positive message in that movie that you guys completely missed between all of the actual comedy that was happening in the movie. In the movie, the woman was making a story about Peter Rabbit. She was making the actual Peter Rabbit story. And the company that wanted to publish it wanted to change everything up. They wanted the Peter Rabbit in space. They wanted Peter Rabbit, having alien battles and stuff like that. Peter Rabbit the ninja. And she just wanted a wholesome story about her garden with Peter Rabbit in it and his crazy antics. That's all she wanted. But this publishing company was not having it unless she changed the story up the way they wanted it. And eventually, she chose to not do it, but she found somebody that was willing to publish her book anyway. Now, that might not happen for a lot of us, but hey, crazier stuff has happened. But I do believe we need to understand that we do not have to always change up our original beautiful artwork that we created just to pander to people. If you do that, then you truly are an insane person. I'm not changing up any of my children's stories that I'm writing. I'm going to publish them, get them published, and they're going to get published in the way that they were originally written. If people don't like it, then I can't change that. We can't change how society views us, and we can't make society view us any better or any less. We can sit here and protest and everything all we want, but society has a right to not like you. You need to stop worrying about how other people feel and worry about how you feel about yourself. Self-acceptance is the first thing before you start making anybody like you. Before you start making anybody like you. Thank you guys for being on my show today, and I hope you guys understand the message I'm trying to give you. I just think that trying to include homosexuality into everything, literally into everything, is just wrong. There's going to be some times when we don't have to have homosexuality included in it. What we're going to have ladders having genders and saying that this ladder is a boy ladder and that ladder is a girl ladder. No, we don't need to do that. They don't have genitalia. I miss shows like Who Framed Roger the Rabbit and stuff like that were funny. Good, wholesome, like the Looney Tunes. They were funny. We don't have stuff out like that anymore. Now everything is gender equality, gender neutral, gender. I don't care, man. Eventually there's going to be a gender X. And you know what that gender X is going to be? No gender at all. Where everyone's going to look like shaved monkeys or look like angels. They have no genitalia down there, period. It's going to happen. Call me crazy, but it's going to happen. Thank you guys for being on my show today. And if you watch this video or not, it's on you. But just know, my words are my words, and I do mean them. Deuces.